Hello Wanderers, and welcome back to Skyrim. After last week's big update and the introduction of the new creations menu, many of us have been running into issues surrounding buggy load orders and broken mods, and it seems that a fix will not really be coming until the beginning of next year. Personally, my current save and load order are working pretty well, which is why I wanted to share it with you today. But I definitely saw the bugginess of the new menu in action when I tried to update or rearrange some of my mods. It all got jumbled, and some of them said that they updated but weren't in my load order at all, even though they took up the space. So be careful, take a record of what your mod list is, either screenshot it or write it down so that you can always rebuild it if something goes wrong, because it does seem like the menu is a little bit buggy still and we don't want any regrets. Let's take a look at my Xbox load order of about 100 mods, and just remember it's still a work in progress. First up, we've got some mod list essentials, such as the Unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, which fixes a myriad of bugs, big and small, across the game. The Campfire mod offers a more fleshed out and immersive camping system for those who like to adventure in the wilderness. Cheat Room will provide you with a set of valuable tools for game alteration and manipulation, especially for console users. A quality world map greatly overhauls both the look and the functionality of the in-game map. Environ All-in-One is a mod that adds some really interesting story progression in the lore of the game in certain locations. Cutting Room Floor does the same, but using content that was cut out of the game originally, and has some really nice gems in there. Now moving on to the visual overhauls for characters and NPCs, including Bijin All-in-One, Optimized Vitruvia for the males, Realistic RS and Elven Children for the children, and of course for the female body we have Caliente's Beautiful Bodies. Next up we have Convenient Horses, which is a pretty indispensable overhaul when it comes to the functionality of riding and small things like having your followers be able to ride with you. And Swiftsteed Stables, which I love not only because it overhauls the horses themselves so beautifully, but also because it adds a lot of fun quests to do along the way. Moving on to weapon and armor mods like Unique Uniques, Royal Armory, Narrative Loot, and Fashions of the Fourth Era and Imitations by Sforzinda, among others. These mods I love because they just add a lot of depth and texture to the game, and it really does give it more of a fantasy or a medieval feel, which is a little bit lacking in the original game and the textures, especially now in 2023. Mods like Bandolier do a great job of combining the crafting and armor aspect of things, as well as the weight management, which can get really frustrating in the game if you don't have mods that sort of supplement a way to make sure that you can hoard some more loot. Ars Metallica is one of the best overhauls to the crafting and smithing system in my opinion, giving you so many more options for crafting, including being able to melt scrap and weapons into ingots, which I think is amazing. Wearable Lanterns is an excellent crafting mod for lighting your way through dark dungeons. Coming up, we have the Player Homes and General Buildings section, which includes the Inns and Taverns mod, which I think is really fun and kind of indispensable for me at this point, especially when I'm out adventuring in the cold. It's great to be able to have a place to rest for the night. There's a ton of really cool player home mods for Skyrim, and it can be hard to choose sometimes. Usually what I do is I'll start with like a small shack home somewhere, like Riverwood, and then I'll move up to bigger homes as my character grows. And I'll also use the My Home is Your Home mod to rehome some of my followers. And it's great. It works really well with survival mode as well. Next up, we have some mods that add some useful specialty shops to the game, including one of my favorites, Sketchy Shova, who is not only a really good fence near Riverwood, but also a great option if you want to do a crazy skooma cat playthrough. At this point, we're getting down to more of the odds and ends when it comes to mods. Not the least of which is Interact, Build, Decorate, which totally overhauls the item decoration in the game. It's really worth it to have this mod installed because before it was just so frustrating building or placing anything, and after it, it's just like a completely different game system. So I totally recommend it. Same with My Home is Your Home, Custom Family Home, all of these residence restoring homes, like Helping the Warrens, the Aretino home, Sinderian's Lab. It's all just extra functionality added to the game and extra gameplay that should have probably been there in the first place, but thank goodness for modders. Point the Way adds some much needed signage to the game so that you don't have to be pulling up your map every 2 minutes. Birds of Skyrim, as you might imagine, adds an incredible ecosystem of birds to the game that feels really lacking without it. For graphics and textures, I like using Super SMIM'd, Enhanced Texture Detail, Surreal Lighting, Skyland All-in-One, and the Skyland LODs, as well as Cathedral Flowers. I was never one for including a lot of lighting and graphics changes in my load order, but I have to say that after trying out Skyland in combination with those different mods I mentioned before, I really like the look of my game, and the atmosphere and weather is just so beautiful and looks really up to date in my opinion for Skyrim. So I really think you should give it a shot. Now reaching the end of the load order, we have a few small mods that make either changes or alterations to the game, like mannequins for female players or immersive movement so that your character feels a little bit more like it's moving in a realistic way. And also things like Arcade's Rites, which allow you to bury bodies, which I think is really great for like a pilgrim playthrough, and also allows you to clean up Skyrim a little bit. For our four-legged companions, we have Silent Dogs, which makes your dogs a lot quieter when following you. And Smart No More Stupid Dog makes rude NPCs a lot quieter when they want to insult your dog. They'll say, "Good boy," instead. Amazing Follower Tweaks is a mod that's great for vanilla followers. Just don't use it on custom followers like Inigo and the Serana Dialogue add-on, which now comes with its own overhaul, True Blood Serana, because it can really mess with their scripts. So just, even if you have the option to use it with them, refrain from doing so. Both Valor and Vigilance are some great reskins of some already existing canine companions in the game. And on the same vein, the Barely Used Vanilla Actors project is an incredible resource that brings back some vanilla actors that were supposed to be in-game and scripted to be in-game but never made it in. Lastly, we have some NPC dialogue and behavior overhauls, including realistic conversations, immersive citizens, and relationship dialogue overhaul, which stipulates that it should be placed under alternate start in the load order, so that's what I do along with its patches. And of course, alternate start is a mod that allows you to start the game while skipping the initial starting sequence, and it also allows you to start the game wherever you want, so it's a very useful mod to have as well. Now I'll jump into my game so you can see how everything is looking. I was pretty fortunate in that my load order was pretty stable before the update, as I mentioned, so that's why I feel like I wasn't too affected, but there's definitely a chance that something could go really wrong, so we're all learning together, and if you have any tips down in the comments below, I will always appreciate them. I always learn a lot of really cool stuff about the game from you guys just by reading what you have to say or like what your experiences have been, and I'm sure that other players do too, so keep up the good work. What I've been wanting from this load order is a deeper and darker fantasy feel for Skyrim. I really find that surreal lighting combined with Skyland really gives that in the architecture and in the ambiance, and also the combination of like fashions of the 4th era and just all the mods coming together to create this very dreamy but also like gritty world is something that I really enjoy. Additionally, I want to add new things to my world because it can get a little bit repetitive to adventure across Skyrim and encounter the same NPCs or the same quests. So it's great when you're able to add and pepper in different things that allow you to have an experience that is familiar, but at the same time has new adventures woven into it. As always, thank you so much for joining me for this look at my Skyrim load order. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite mods are. If you have any kind suggestions, also put them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new here. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And until the next one, friends, stay safe and happy wandering.